Hi, everybody, we're just gonna go.
I'm sorry I coughed right in your ears.
That is awful of you.
So, if we're doing math right, tomorrow is the day Case 5 starts.
Yes.
Watch our math be wrong. And
I will be so sad.
you know what? This will be like one of the few times maybe I'll say, if we are wrong, let's upload a few videos a few times a day, just so that we're on track.
I want to. I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna try to get ahead in editing so we can do it. It's our freaking 3-year project. We're not messing it up now. You say that Mr. Falls pushed you into the Eagle River. However, that's hard to believe.
But it's true. I felt a push on my back. I'm certain of it. It was Mr. Falls.
I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't clear enough. I shouldn't have said, that's hard to believe. I should have said, that's impossible.
Impossible?
I asked that the court recall the condition of Dusky Bridge, now and 5 years ago. That bridge hasn't changed one bit in these last 5 years. If somebody had pushed you from behind, as you have claimed, instead of being carried away by the river, you would have been smashed by the bedrock below, and most certain death. Do you understand now, Dahlia Hawthorne? The very notion that my client pushed you from behind is impossible.
Your Honor, this event occurred 5 years ago. Why, for all we know, the water level in the river may have been higher back then.
But it's 40 feet from the bridge to the river. A small change in the water level wouldn't have made a difference.
Ugh.
You're right. The events occurred just as the witness has testified. The defendant couldn't have pushed the witness into the river. Young lady, what is the meaning of this?
You see, I...
Just a moment, Your Honor.
So glad we
His eyes!
It's true that the witness testified that the defendant pushed her into the river.
I'm sorry, I just imagined the little crow picture of ours.
Oh,
And I put Edward's eyes on it. It's amazing.
However, she never stated that she fell from the back end of the bridge.
I need to make that myself so that we can like commercialize it.
Yes!
What do you mean?
After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Falls panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge.
If that's true, she would have fallen into the river. Yes, push them back. Miss Hawthorne, is Mr. Edgeworth's explanation correct?
Now that you mention it, I do remember now when I fell off the bridge. My skirt got caught on one of the bridge's side wires.
You can't be serious!
I thought you were more like stretching out frustration, like, just
Order!
but no, you were just
Order in the court!
It seems Miss Faye's assault has finally reached its conclusion.
Not now, Mia. This is no time to retreat. Unfortunately for you, this is just the start of Miss Faye's assault.
What?
I believe your reasoning went something like this, Mr. Edgeworth. After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Falls panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. However, once again, I'm forced to say, that's impossible.
Ridiculous. What's so impossible about it?
Because your flawed logic contradicts the court record. I thought that said the court record. To a court order, I should say. Your Honor, all of the answers are right here in this photo. Take a look at the wires supporting both sides of the bridge. They extend up to about 5 feet off the ground. It would be impossible to push someone off from there. No!
But let's remember the size and strength of the defendant. Wires like this wouldn't be a problem for him. He could have easily picked up a 14-year-old girl and thrown her over.
Yeet!
Really?
Yeet! So young and
on my arm! Yeet!
And already so forgetful, Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Falls had been shot in the right arm.
This gun empty.
Yeet! I'm losing blood! Yeet!
My arm empty.
Yeet!
And more importantly,
I need a gif of that now.
Valerie Hawthorne had her gun trained on him at point-blank range.
Ugh.
So, Mr. Falls throwing the witness off the bridge? That is clearly impossible!
Ugh.
I did it, Mr. Armadillo!
Order! What is the meaning of this?
Dahlia Hawthorne, you jumped into the Eagle River intentionally!
What? What is this?
Indeed, what do you mean by such a ridiculous remark?
His eyes are beautiful. Yes, it's ridiculous! My sister was there to help me! She had her gun and handcuffs! She could have saved me! Jumping into a raging river like that would have been suicide!
Perhaps, but still, that's exactly what you did. You were probably confident that you could handle the swift current. But even more so, the witness had a much more compelling reason for jumping into the river.
Oh, then what was it? What was so important that she wanted to jump into the river?
The witness is still alive. This fact alone explains everything. This is why she risked her life by jumping into the rapids of the Eagle River.
He's a big rock!
It was 5 years ago, there was a big rock. Something else disappeared along with Dahlia that day. It was a big rock. It's a big rock that Valerie brought up the mountain. A 2 million rock.
A 2 million rock. She dumped that in his bag of literally 2 million pebbles.
No, it can't be.
Yes, Dahlia had it all planned from the beginning.
This devious 14-year-old child.
The $2 million, she was going to keep it all for herself.
Okay, a 14-year-old would totally do that.
I mean, $1 million. She forced Mr. Falls to help her fake the kidnapping.
Bang.
At the last minute, she betrayed him and threw herself into the river, with the ransom tucked away safely in her backpack.
That was simply ridiculous!
Order!
Your Honor, 5 years ago, the witness was only 14 years old. Do you really think a 14-year-old is capable of such a demonic plan?
Yes, kids are evil.
They are.
This woman
with them.
is a demon. And there was one more person who helped make a demon out of her. Her sister, Valerie Hawthorne.
You mean the victim was involved in the kidnapping plot as well?
Yes!
Sunshine.
But she was a detective then. You're saying she participated in her sister's kidnapping?
Precisely. I'm sure that it weighed heavily on her conscience for the past 5 years. This is the sole reason behind the victim's murder.
What do you mean by that?
On the day of the murder, after receiving a phone call from Mr. Falls, Valerie called her sister Dahlia. And then she told her what she was planning to do.
Planning to do?
She was going to tell the whole truth, as she wrote it in her note.
That is what sealed Valerie Hawthorne's fate. That is when you hatched your demonic plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. A plan that would ensure neither of your accomplices to the kidnapping would talk. And that is why you killed your sister, Valerie Hawthorne.
Damn.
Who is that? Laughing at a time like this?
Forgive me. It's just hilarious.
You're such a bitch. Witness, is that you?
You amuse me, woman. Miss Mia Fey.
Yes.
You can certainly weave an exciting tale. Naturally. You have the evidence to back it up, don't you?
Evidence?
evidence that I planned the kidnapping, of course. That at 14, I plotted it with Mr. Falls and my sister.
Well,
And one more thing. What happened to the $2 million diamond? If you can't provide evidence to at least show that.
Well, Miss Faye?
I don't know.
What a joke. You, Miss Faye. Are you stupid or something?
How can I prove a fake kidnapping that happened 5 years ago? I don't even have a decisive proof of Valerie Hawthorne's murder.
Well, it seems that we've come to the end. To be honest, the witness behavior does raise certain suspicions. However, I am forced to reject the assertions made by the defense.
Of course you are.
Is this it? Is this really over? That girl has made a fool of me and there's nothing I can do about it!
Without evidence, the trial is over. Who decided that?
Mr. Armando!
Come on now, Keaton. Haven't you figured out that you can make your own rules?
I don't think that's how the law works.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know, the way that the prosecution makes their own rules, I think this goes.
Okay.
Even if there's no evidence, there is still testimony.
Testimony?
On the day in question, Dahlia Hawthorne murdered her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. And hid the body in the trunk, Mr. Falls' stolen car, and went to meet with him. And disguised herself as Valerie Hawthorne. That's what you think, right?
Yes, that's right.
In that case, there's only one answer, right? There's only one person left who can testify about Valerie Hawthorne's murder.
Since there's no proof, there's only one thing left to do. Who's the one person who could testify to that demon's woman's crimes? Oh my gosh.
It's obvious.
Your Honor, the defense wishes to call a new witness.
A new witness?
Yes, we would like to hear the testimony of Terry Falls.
The defendant?
There's only one person that can shed any further light on the situation. Only one person that knows what Dahlia's role in the kidnapping was. Only one person that can say whether the person in the photo is Valerie Hawthorne, or whether it was in fact her younger sister Dahlia, disguised as her. There's only one person who can solve this riddle once and for all, and that person is Terry Falls.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what is your take on this?
Why not? The prosecution has no objection.
Very well. Bailiff! Bring the defendants to the witness stand!
Sorry, sir! That was amazing! This is my last chance, Mr. Falls. My last chance to establish Dahlia's guilt. You're all I have left. 3 minutes? 4 minutes?
Just push it.
Well, we're gonna push it. Push it. Long episode.
The last day.
Everything has been said at this point, yes!
I don't believe it. No way.
I guess since you gotta leave soon, Sunshine, keep an eye on.
Yeah, you
Dahlia
tell us what to stop.
died 5 years ago. Valerie betrayed me.
Mr. Falls, I don't know what she said to you 5 years ago, but one thing is clear. Dahlia is very much alive. And you were used for $2 million.
Well, at least you're an expensive prostitute.
It's not true.
Mr. Flores, there's only one question I want the answer to. 2 days ago on Dusky Bridge, who did you meet? Was it Valerie Hawthorne or was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
Dahlia, did you betray me? 5 years ago, she promised we'd never ever betray each other.
Terry?
Dahlia, it's true. You are alive.
You don't trust me anymore? That makes me sad.
Tell the truth, the real truth. I believed in you.
I shouldn't need to say it. You should already know. But there is one thing that I will say. My life is in your hands right now, Terry.
And the fingers are up.
Dahlia.
Oh, the double finger defense is here.
I will allow Mr. Falls to testify once and once only. Now then, Mr. Falls, yours will be the final testimony in this trial.
Quite literally.
Witness!
Ah.
Ah! Sorry! I apologize!
Water. Please, water.
Huh?
Can't talk. I need water.
Huh. Oh well, I guess it'll have to be my coffee instead. At least it will match the way he probably feels, right? He's probably feeling right now. Darker and bitter than hell itself.
Ah.
I need water to swallow this bowling ball!
That day, 4 p.m., I stopped the car. I was in front of the bridge. She wasn't there, so I waited on bridge. I watched my car from bridge. I never put nobody in that car. Finally, one woman came. She stood in front of me. We talked, then she left. That was Valerie, not my Dahlia.
Mr. Falls, you're covering for her. Do you think she would do the same for you?
That's enough, Miss Faye. His last statement was a fitting way to end the final testimony of the trial.
Well then, Miss Faye, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Is this how you want it to end, Mr. Falls? Another guilty verdict to go along with your death sentence?
What? If I get one more, I get a free ice cream.
The judge?
Sorry, I
know, just keep reading.
There was only one person who could stop it. You, kitten. I think.
Thanks,
sorry.
Armadillo.
I know that's not the tone, but I had to play it that way.
Thanks, Armadillo.
I think we usually have to play I think stuff like I think. So when you got to the bridge, no one had arrived, huh? So you waited on the bridge. You're sure of that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're sure, huh? Well then I'm sure too, Mr. Falls. I'm sure that you're lying.
Huh? Oh, I would love to hear a rationale on this, Miss Faye.
You want to know who arrived at the bridge first? Just look at this photo. It's perfectly clear. Obviously, the person that came first would be the one at the end of the bridge, right?
But that's the victim at the end of the bridge.
Precisely my point. In other words, Mr. Falls, you must have arrived at the bridge after she did. Mr. Falls? Please don't get so worked up. We just want the truth.
Got there around 4 o'clock, it's true. I had somewhere to go. A special place.
Did you go to the special place before you went to the bridge?
Yeah, it's an old temple about 50 minutes from the bridge. 5 years ago, me and Dahlia, we promised each other. We swore we wouldn't betray each other. She brought a memento to represent our love.
A memento?
5 years ago, I hid it under the base of the tree there. It's a special memory for me. This is it. This is what I went to get.
Little bottle and a necklace is your memento. It's quite charming, but it looks empty.
Your Honor, you heard what my client said. He arrived at the scene at 4 o'clock. But he then left his car unattended and walked away. He was gone for approximately 30 minutes. With that much time, Dahlia Hawthorne could have easily hidden the body in the trunk of the car.
No!
Indeed, there certainly was enough time for it.
I've still got a chance. Mr. Falls, there's no mistaking it. Huh? Mr. Falls?
That's enough, please.
Witness?
I promised her 5 years ago. If it ever happens, that we can't trust each other no more, then we're supposed to drink bottle. No! Stop the trial! Your Honor, we need a recess! I was stupid, couldn't keep promise, so I did it. I drank this.
No! We are so close! Just a little more! I was going to prove your innocence!
No, don't want that. Don't trust self. Maybe kill again. Kill sweet Dahlia again.
Mr. Falls!
Mr. Armando, thanks. or the coffee.
Mr. Falls!
Rest in peace, buddy.
And so my first trial ended, suddenly and tragically. It ended with no winners, only losers. I ended up with a wound that cut so deep into my soul, I thought it'd never heal. I'm sure it was the same for the young prosecutor as well. But one person, the true criminal, Dahlia Hawthorne, she left the courtroom with a secret smile on her demonically sweet face.
Unforgivable, that witch.
Mr. Armando,
So close to the truth. It was right there in front of us. You were just a little too soft kitten.
it's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself.
Don't cry, kitten. You're going to make my coffee all salty.
I knew it. I knew I wasn't cut out for this.
Mia,
You said her name!
don't you get it? You can't cry yet.
Oh, wow.
The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
Look at him still smiling.
Mr. Armando. No matter how tough the case, no matter how bitter the memories,
I think this is now Nick.
No. They always fade over time. Then you file them away and eventually forget them.
He was Nick, I got it.
well, sweet transition.
1 year later, in this very same courthouse, I myself got wrapped up in that case. Only after that did Dahlia Hawthorne get put on trial for her crimes. The verdict that was ultimately handed down to her was... guilty, of course. Naturally, when the verdict was read, she had a perfect, angelic smile on her face. It was finally all over. At least that's what I thought at the time. Unfortunately, I couldn't have been more wrong. It's been 5 years, but now something has happened that's made me remember all this.
Yeah, I was reading it. It helped me remember quite well.
That is the end of case 4.
Wow, we completed a whole case in one session. That hasn't happened since the first. Okay,
We will see you.
in the final case.
Bridge
Hold
to
on.
the turnabout.
Yeah?
There's something that I actually think,
Huh?
I actually think that, Terry, he might actually have face blindness.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Because-
I would see that.
Because he wouldn't be able. That's why he asked for a scarf, and
Yeah.
that's why when Dahlia was in the courtroom,
He didn't
he would be in the
recognize her.
defendant chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it being. I know I gotta get out 999. It describes that. disease.
It's on our. We will play it
We'll
eventually.
play it.
Yes.
So we will see you guys at Bridge to the Turnabout
Goodbye.
tomorrow. Bye.